Hey guys, we're back. This is going to be game 2 of DK versus LGD Gaming. My name is Purge. I'm here with Luminous. Thanks for joining us. This is going to be our last match of the night, if I'm not mistaken. Been some great games so far. The two favorites of Group A are up against one another. DK hasn't dropped a match yet. Technically 3-0, but with their forfeit, or with LGDN's forfeit, they're up 5-0. So they are stomping their group. Can they make it 6-0? I think they have a pretty good shot.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think they've been playing better Dota. I mean, we'll call it safe. I just call it very meticulous. They just don't give anything up for free. And for those of you guys who are wondering why is it a best of 2 series instead of the standard best of 3, our organizer DPM, she shortened the tournament to include more teams. So that's to include Navi. We had to make the tournament a little bit smaller. So if we have more best of 3, we wouldn't have Navi. That's a decision that she had to make, and well, I think we all want to see Navi, so I don't mind best of 2s.
And for a group stage anyways, I don't think it's that important personally.
It's for points.
Like,
so.
If you're talking about eliminations and things like that, then yeah, it's a big deal.
Don't worry, we'll still have best of 3s somewhere down the road when we get actually into the double elimination brackets.
Every team here, even LGD Int, who's looking in dire straits at a 0-4, they can still come back. So the best of 2 impacts us figuring out which teams are technically better than each other right now, but at least in the group stage format, it just kind of shows us seeding things. So anyways, we can hop into the game. The draft is underway. LGD is already 2 bans deep. They've got Lifestealer banned as well as an Alchemist. Apparently they don't want to deal with Alchemist this game.
I mean, Alchemist was kind of a big factor in last game. I'm surprised that we haven't seen Visage.
Do you really feel like he was a big factor though? Like, he passively farmed well, and his stun is big. He landed that huge stun on 2 supports. That was definitely game-changing stun. But I don't know, like, I feel like that's mostly all he did. Like,
I feel like you can't ignore him, because in the team fight, like, what is your support gonna do when he pops a BPG and just run at you? He's not gonna kill your supports.
And you're not gonna kill him because he's gonna regen like 30 HP per second.
The bigger thing for me is the acid spray. Like, it allowed Burning to do a lot more damage than he would have normally done. So he doesn't put up big numbers in terms of kills or the farm, but he has a lot of like utility, even though he didn't go for a utility build, if that makes any sense. So I'm not sure whether he's worth the first ban just on that alone, but the possibility that he could go into full carry mode if the game went longer than that as well is just an added benefit. Yeah,
well, a hero that hasn't been picked up that much for this tournament at least, Kunkka. He was getting first round banned for the
quite a while,
just even the Eastern qualifiers a couple weeks ago. Not seeing Kunkka anymore, which is a little surprising. I'm not really sure what changed. Maybe
DK was banning out Dragon Knight and Kunkka on the second round. So
second round, okay.
Yeah, if LG want it, they have to get it now, and I'm not sure whether he's worth the pick right now.
Well, Visage has squeaked through at least, one of the best supports in the game right now, just because Soul Assumption is fantastic. It seems like every game that I see Visage played, he always has super positive KD, contributes, gets kills. The bats are fantastic as well, globally ganking, things like that. Great against support heroes with low armor. They do so much physical damage, and the stun isn't bad either to set up kills or like chain stun and stuff.
Yeah, and if you have enough like gold to, Arcane, Medallion, and Mech, and then you get that Axe Scepter, oh god. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a carry, you just melt to those 3 birds.
Yeah, they really do a lot of damage output. It's actually been a lot of reserve time being used from DK right here. These are pretty insanely important picks, though, especially with some of the bans that went through. Like the Alchemist ban as well as the Shadow Demon ban kind of changed things up a lot. So they have to format their strat right now, and this is, I mean, reserve time is a lot more important than it was in the past.
Yeah, for example, they could go into Darkseer Spectre right now if they want the 2-man combo, which has been popular, but they're going to go with what works, which is Darkseer Chen, the exact same 2-pick coming out from the last pick. I personally dislike Chen in terms of a matchup against Visage. On one end, you have the healing. That's going to help out at least against one Soul Assumption. I feel that against a team that consists of Visage, you need to kill them instantly, or else they're going to just outlast you with multiple Soul Assumptions. Or at least you got to kill Visage instantly. And Chen is not a hero that have that much damage output.
So you think he's not that good because his offense isn't as good as a typical 4 roll?
Right. Like, for example, if a Rubik or a
What if he gets like 3 Harpies?
Well,
and then just goes zap crazy.
That's OP.
God, that would be the best. I would have so much fun microing that.
Just like lightning tap, lightning tap, lightning tap.
It's like you're playing Meepo basically. You're just like tap, 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 tap. That would be really good at smart casting, actually.
Well, I'm not sure we're gonna see 3 Heartbeat Storms.
Pretty unlikely. It only spawns at the small camp, and it only spawns there like.
Have you tried your best to run around and collect them and It's
No,
like
I just theorycrafted that now, but that's got to be OP. Like, somebody do the math on the DPS on that. That's got to be.
it's just like arc lightning, right? It's like 150 damage.
It does 105 after reduction.
105 after
So you could
reduction,
cycle
okay.
that every 4 seconds. That's
Okay.
that's like
That's
OP.
a lot, yeah.
That's like a dagon. That's a dagon every
Okay.
4 seconds. That's OP.
It's AoE too, sort of, because
Yeah.
it bounces.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's not OP. I don't know. Stuns are pretty good, man.
Well, they're gonna go with the Darkseer and Chen combo, and yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm correct in saying that against a Visage team you gotta kill them quick, and Chen is not a hero that's good at killing people quick.
Yeah.
And now they also have Dragon Knight on the front line, and it's hard to actually kind of move past him, especially with your Centaur creeps and whatnot. Yeah, I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but so far with the 2 picks in, I like how LG's picks more, personally.
It could go a lot of different ways. Dragon Knight's a pretty stable mid. He can be ganked, but he has usually moderate HP is probably the best way to describe it. And if he's at least level 4, he has some armor on top of that. So, like you said, Chen doesn't really have that much damage early on. If it's a Troll Warlord creep, ganking is not the best. If it's something like a Centaur, he does the disable without a whole lot of damage. If probably the best is maybe a Hellbear Smasher versus
Yes,
him, because you
yes.
really need the magic burst as well as the disable. And there's not a lot of other creeps that can do that. So. Hopefully for them they can get a gank off, but at least their offlane is going to be pretty safe with Darkseer. Darkseer doesn't have to worry about Visage too much because Grave Shield doesn't do anything. He can surge out of that. He does have to worry about Soul Assumption, but it's looking okay for DK right now. Their draft could go lots of different ways, though. I mean, they could try to put a favorable matchup against Dragon Knight. Would you say there's any heroes that really counter him super hard? I don't know.
I mean, a lot of hero easily beats him mid, like
they will.
Queen of Pain would
they'll out farm him.
Yeah.
But TA maybe.
Well,
would you
Kunkka,
say?
it's a hero that does it too. Simply because you don't actually have to use your Tiebringer to harass him.
Yeah.
You just keep your plus damage and deny.
Really.
Yeah, and well, that's how the Chinese player play it. Basically, you say the only creeps you're gonna get is Flame Breath, and with the Bottle Crow
Interesting.
being somewhat nerfed, he's gonna have some more of a difficult time.
I've never tried that before. It sounds really good though.
Yeah, sometimes they do it. The other time we saw a Dragon Knight just completely get decimated on the mid lane was when Orange picked solo mid Sand King and just won Caustic Finale.
Yeah, I don't think I caught that game, unfortunately.
So Caustic Finale, because DK has the same melee range, and
Yeah.
he's not going to be able to handle that. I'm surprised that DK did not pick a Nyx Assassin here because it's a great support on zone right, but secondly, if LG gets Nyx Assassin right now, all of these heroes selected so far, a single mono burn, and they're going to be able to assist in the Team 5 as much. They are really kind of mono-starved heroes.
Weaver's drafted again, except this time for LGD Gaming, so they'll have some minus armor there. Their damage is all over the place, actually. A little bit of magic, a little bit of physical. So bugs plus bats actually a really good combo.
Yeah,
if you
it
can reduce
is.
armor a bit there, right-click those after those heroes. Slark actually banned as well from LGD Gaming. Not always being drafted in the Chinese scene, but occasionally they fear the hero. And for good reason. That hero is not fun to play against. He's probably one of my most despised personally, especially if he gets ahead. He is so tough to deal with. The really only good way is burst damage, and they're lacking that a little bit right now. So
I personally think that's probably one of the better ways to deal with the Visage as well, because he's
That's
a hero
like-
that could come like from a back line and just jumps on you, and generally that's where Visage is. If he pops a BKB or something like that, the birds are not going to do much, and generally you want your Visage to live throughout a team fight, and having a very mobile carry like Slark or Weaver, that's probably Visage's like the biggest nightmare.
Dark Pack probably goes right through his armor as well.
Yeah,
Breaks all the instances.
it's very tough for Visage to deal with it. And now Kunkka and Gyrocopter is going to have the added benefit of killing those birds. You could cleave on them.
That's true.
You could Gyrocopter flak them. And there's a ton of early game magical damage with things like Torn as well as Call Down. So despite LG lineup being somewhat more of the difficult to kill lineup, would they have Gravekeeper Cloak with DK kind of natural tank with a Weaver back time-lapse? Windrunner with her kind of Windrunner ability. I still think that there is a ton of burst damage on DK, and LG should be very careful.
Yeah, if they don't really have a good stun setup for Weaver right now. He's looking pretty safe to me. They have Vacuum, they have whatever Chen's working with, maybe a homing missile, but those are pretty easy to dodge if you're Weaver. And then there's like an X-Torn combo. I feel like they definitely have the burst damage to kill Weaver if Kunkka has some levels into himself. But I think they need a lockdown support, somebody with a hard stun. Maybe even a Rubik would be okay. I don't know if that's necessarily the right choice. They're going to go for a Sand King though, so it'll be a Sand King support, most likely Gyrocopter Sand King.
Oh my god.
Got to see an Ogre, pretty surprising. So I guess this is going to be a Weaver Ogre Visage trialing.
Sure.
And then,
Or maybe even a
Windrunner
offensive
safe.
tri-lane that consists of a Windrunner.
Offensive tri-lane that consists of Windrunner
Yeah,
with a
Orange-
ranged and a melee. They could.
Yeah, Orange been doing that a ton, so it's definitely possible. You know, when you were suggesting they need a very lockdown heavy support, I was hoping that MMY would be playing his very famous Lion back in like
Lion,
2010.
really cool.
Yeah, you know, he would have been able to jungle with Chen and get some EXP, but it's a hero that we haven't seen at all lately. And Sand King's definitely a great hero that has instant disable in the form of a Burrow Strike. And
Yeah.
well, he was a pretty good Sand King last game, so let's see how good of his Sand King this game.
That's true. He's been practicing.
Yeah.
And it's a 2-second stun at level 1. The only thing that sucks about it is it's a low range initiation. 350 range can sometimes cost you kills. So we'll see a disconnect from Ogre Magi. It'll be interesting to see what item build, or skill build, sorry, the Ogre Magi goes. Most of the time that Alliance has been playing Ogre, one of the few teams to draft the hero recently, they almost always go max Fire Blast with Bloodlust. And I don't even know if they get a point into Ignite, but they basically do this to make their carries do a lot more damage in the mid game. That'll be going on Dragonite, and that'll also be going on a hero like Weaver.
Yeah.
Attack speed on him, fantastic. If he just gets a damage item, he's going to do some serious damage in the mid game. And again, not that many disables, so we could maybe see Sylar really hit a huge peak if he can get like a fast MKB up with an Aqua or something like that.
Yeah, depending on how this game goes, he will feel like whether he could skip his BKB, and if you could skip your BKB, that's 4k gold that's not going into a defensive item and into a damaging item, and with things like Bloodlust on top, that could be pretty big. Now, I think they're probably going to just leave Ignite at one point, and the reason that we don't see Ogre Magi on supports getting max Ignite, it's not because Ignite's like a bad spell. It's okay. It's just the fact that support heroes are so starved in levels in the first place that if you want to max Ignite, you're not going to even see any Bloodlust till late game. And like, I mean, like 45 minute, yeah.
Like, you don't even know if this Ogre's going to pass level 12.
Exactly.
Before the game's over, so.
And you got to get your multicast, so.
I do personally really like getting Maxi and Ignite with Fire Blast because ganking and killing is a lot easier, but they definitely are going to want Bloodlust in the middle of the game to make Weaver as well as Dragonite a lot stronger, so.
Alright, so it's going to be a Chen that starts out in the defensive jungle first, and that's generally a very, I mean, it's more of the common practice now, because if you go into the enemy jungle and they kind of gank you right at the 25-second mark, you don't have creeps to protect yourself, so he gets this Wildkin, and maybe he's actually looking to farm a little bit, because you could easily use this Wildkin and stack, and basically farm some two camps, and I think that's exactly what he's looking to do right now.
Well, the lane setup was actually good for LGD. They predicted what DK was going to do, and they just forced Gyrocopter to actually TP to the top lane. They wanted to put Gyrocopter versus the Windrunner. It's a decent matchup for Gyro, but instead LGD threw the Windrunner top, and it was like they were anticipating LGD's dodge, I guess, and things didn't work out. So Weaver was sitting bottom, the supports rotated over, and immediately Burning said, okay, this is not going to happen. I need to leave, because he would have died, definitely.
Yeah, so now we have this awkward situation that we have a Sand King that's supposed to be on support. Now it's getting a little bit of EXP, which I don't think he minds, but yeah, he needs ROTK to make the transition, and is ROTK even coming? I think he's going to be just jungling right now.
Huh, that is really weird. Sand King off lane versus a Weaver. So if we take a look at how the lanes are going, Dragonite versus Kunkka mid, they should break about even there. Weaver is going to absolutely destroy this lane, and Windrunner has a good chance of getting some farm. I love what he's doing right now. He's actually baiting Burning into diving this a little bit farther. Here comes the chase. They actually don't have a Grave Chill, though, so he's going to be just fine. But pretty good game sense for him to back up there.
Yeah, if DD caught up with the Fire Blast, that could have been it.
Yep.
There's no Shackle Shot up just yet. Windrunner going for both power shots, but they were able to kind of chase him down with right clicks and whatever else. And looks like we do see the slow transition to the bot lane from ROTK. Sand King has all the way teleported up top, I believe. I think he's wasted a ton of time in terms of not getting enough out of the experience. He should have been level 2, in my opinion, by now. But
almost a stun on Burning. It's going to run straight up, though. They actually have a Tornado defensively. This is going to be a big problem to the tri-lane, especially. Power Shot dodge as well. But as soon as this Tornado gets within range of some of these support heroes, it's going to cost them a lot of survivability.
You win. You just get a Tornado creep and you just win lane.
Yeah, it is a serious amount of damage. The slow isn't too bad either. Pretty good for ganking and things like that. And in the meantime, since Chen's only level 3, he can only control one creep right now. He's going to start pulling. He's actually not going to be stacking this verse. He's going to pull it. The large camp over here is gone, though, so this is going to guarantee it pushes afterwards.
So back in the mid lane here, let's watch out on the more, I guess, the boring matchup where you have two melee heroes kind of hitting on each other. Super, getting a single point of X marks a spot at level 4. You generally don't see this build. You generally see this have Torrent at level 2. I guess the reason that he's getting it here is for the Weaver, but I don't expect him to gank Weaver anytime soon. So yeah, I actually wonder what this is really about.
Yeah, I feel like whenever I see Kunkka's played in the pro scene that their skill builds are pretty much all over the place. I'm sure the reason he's doing this is because he's expecting to get a second level of X in the early game. I wouldn't be surprised to see him grab it at level 5, honestly. Level 1 Torrent does full stun duration. The slow duration is a little bit low, but a level 1 Torrent is actually a ton of damage. It's 120 damage nuke at level 1, which is way higher than a typical nuke. So if he just picks up X here, he has a guaranteed setup, and there it is. 2 levels of X. He has a guaranteed Torrent setup. Doesn't matter what LGD Zhao 8 does, he's going to get stunned by it, and he can also set up a boat combo. So if any ganks come to the mid lane, if a Sand King shows up or something, he can just X him at the creep line, do a Torrent, and guarantee the
Top
setup.
lane, though, it looks like MNY is going to be big trouble. Nice dodge, using the Sandstorm to dodge that Soul Assumption. Would have died for sure if that wasn't the case, so he's going to go back and heal him a tiny bit. The bad thing for that is that Sandstorm does have a very long cooldown. At level 1, he's basically got to sit out of the lane for about 30 seconds. But yeah, great point to talk about the setup stun on X into a Torrent, because as we see a gank attempt coming to the mid lane, that's where X becomes a lot more useful to set up that Torrent. You got to keep in mind that Bolt got a 50 damage increase early on, so could have that makes up for the damage that you lose on not leveling up Torrent.
Oh, he did
bit.
just spot the Hellbear, though. He
Yeah.
was smoked up, but it gets spotted, so they're going to have to give up on this one. Super checking the top rune. It's actually not there.
Oh, it was there, and Visage just killed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With what?
Right click.
What was it?
Double damage.
Really? You just killed it?
Yeah, Chen was closer to the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. What was I going to talk about? Something... Oh, yeah, Ogre. Grab stats. I'm a little surprised.
Say what?
He has stats. He went Fire Blast, stats, Fire Blast. Apparently he doesn't care about Ignite or Bloodlust or anything. I'm really
am not sure about that one at all.
I just really feel like in a tri-lane situation, Ignite is great. It's a 20% slow. It's not bad. It might be out of position. Was that a clap? We're looking for a Burrow Strike. He's going to be able to Burrow Strike on the Visage. Great stun on Burning to keep him shut down a little bit. But he does get killed by the Hellbear Smash. So that's first blood. QQQ grabs it. Chen, nice kill there. DD also being chased. Another Burrow Strike, and one. He actually gives up on that one, and the salves popped immediately. Good decision to back up, though. It was very likely he would have died there.
Yeah, they have to lose a Hellbear Smasher as a result. I think actually LG came ahead of that. Sure, you gave up first blood, but you also killed Burning as a result, so not too bad. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Sylar going for the kill on the RTK right now. RTK gets a bottle delivered right at the most opportune time, and he balls back up. Should be fine going back in lane.
Pretty good timing on that one. There was a chance he could have dived, but most likely wouldn't have happened. Zhao 8 does hit level 6, so he's going to now take us, do some creep damage as well as some tower damage. This is kind of the part where Super is going to have a rough time. Zhao 8's actually ahead by about 10 CS.
Yeah, I'm surprised that
Pretty
he's...
good for him.
Because when you have Tidebringer, you should be really easily leading to him to CS. I'm not sure how Super fell behind.
I don't know. I feel like Dragon Knight has a better last hitting advantage. Like, Tidebringer is great and all, but it only does enough for you to get a last hit when something's within last hit range. Fire Blast, for example, or Fire Breath, if any of the creeps are missing 300 HP, you can easily get multiple creeps, whereas Tidebringer, it's uncommon for you to get 2 CS with it. So
at the same time. And sometimes you could Tidebringer and then the range creep gets low and you get that denied.
Yeah.
Like, awkward situation like
I would
that
say
happen.
Dragon Knight's a better farmer in the mid lane. Obviously Tidebringer is good, but I think Breathe Fire, any generic AoE gives you a big advantage in a CS war in the mid lane, so I'll put the blame on that.
Okay, well, we do see QQQ still jungling up right now. Only level... We'll hit level 4 rather soon. Yeah, I just feel like the support this game for DK hasn't been really doing that much. And to me, that's really a byproduct of this particular tri-lane. You have, 2 600 range heroes, and basically Ogre might as well be a range hero, because anytime you come into his stunning range, you're probably dead, because you have Power Shot to follow through, you have the Soul Assumption to follow through. So as a result, Burning's farming very timidly, the Sand King can barely show up, and are we going to see yet another smoke gank? Well, a one-man, two-man smoke, they're going to run past the Central War, and let's see, do they recognize, do they ping? Yes, they do. I mean, these Chinese players, they just constantly keep their eyes out. Gotta keep in mind that you don't spot these guys out on the mini-map. You gotta physically watch this particular area of the map to see them.
Yep, that's pretty sick. They were expecting him to be ganking, though, because he did disappear. And, of course, Kunkka is a scary teamfight hero in the early game. If you can land a Torrent boat on support heroes, it's almost always going to result in some kills, so... Pretty nice reaction and play from them, and then they immediately shift up. Great Shackle Shot, actually Power Shot lands first. Burning takes another stun. Can they get the kill? A couple right clicks, Soul Assumption, and he will go down. That was a super sick kill.
Mid lane X Torrent to start it up, and Xiao 8's gonna eat. The bolt's gonna follow through as well. The Burrow Strike's gotta hit. They do hit. They land every stun on top. Xiao 8 still very tanky, man. They threw everything on him. They got the kill though, and boy, they needed that one because they basically kind of dedicated 2 heroes roaming off the lane to do that. Burning unfortunately died top, so still pretty much a wash. And I think Super getting that kill only equates the disadvantage that he had previously, just in the laning phase. So LGD is winning quite a bit, and if you look at the goal graph, it's a 2k goal lead in favor for LGD.
Looking really good for them. I love how tanky Ogre Magi is. Look at how much armor he has. Level 5 hero. He has 7 base armor. So good.
Double TP up top here. It's going to be Kunkka. He got the X. Burrow Strike's going to come top here. Torn as well. It's only a level 1 Torn, but it doesn't matter. And when you land him, Yao pop. Ooh, Shackle Shot not going to latch here. He's going to be dead for sure. They still have the X. They have the rocket following him. The question is, who do you want to get them to kill? Sanking says, I'll get it for myself. I need some gold. And
I pity him so much. He was 70 gold away from finishing his mech. He just couldn't get it.
Who is?
Yao was right before he died. He was at 828 gold or something like that.
Oh wow, that sucks.
That is the worst feeling ever. You're like, oh hey, I almost got mech. I just want to buy this, but I can't. And now he's going to be set back. The mech will be delayed another minute or two. Could have saved him maybe, but landing the torrent was really enough. That was a great burrow strike as well.
Oh,
Lands
he has
on
it now.
2 heroes.
Somehow, he had a pile of
was
gold.
our tower killed? Tower destroyed by the radiant. So was that the top tower died? Or no, mid tower I think just died.
Yeah, just right now. So.
Well, that works. Okay.
Well, why is Kunkka not denying that one?
I don't know. Sure. Maybe he just got there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But in any case, this is 9.5 minute mech, and now LGD could push or do whatever they want to do. If they want to force a Roshan fight right now, they win that fight. Hand of God is not online. It's only a level 5 Chen. Man, DK supports are just so far behind this game.
Let's see what their levels are at. Level 3. Ooh. Yeah, that's what happens when you go aggressive, and you're not able to pull very often. And he actually doesn't have very many CS either. So, how many levels or gold does Gyro have? He has 24 last hits compared to who is farming top? The Windrunner. Wow, DK's or LGD's doing really well here.
Every single lane.
Yeah, the Windrunner got way more farm than the Gyrocopter on the mid lane. DK, the Dragon Knight that is, got about 20 more CS than the Kunkka, and on the safe lane, I think Weaver beat the Darkseer. Pretty sure.
61.
Or, I'm sorry, this was the Sand King off lane actually.
Well, Sand King started there for like a level, and then
it
he
was just one
teleported
level, and then he
top.
roamed. Okay,
Yeah.
and then it was Darkseer bot, correct?
Right. So
okay.
I mean, because of the roaming, ROTK is down about 13, 14 CS. But you expect a Weaver to do a little bit better in that situation. You saw him kind of harassing him out of lane as well. He went for a same build that Burning went last game, which is Aquila, Treads, and a bottle. So maybe taking a page out of play, but we'll see if he's gonna do the annoying harass at the ancient stacks and whatnot as well. But Burning comparatively in this game has so little farm, and generally you expect him to be your late game carry force, and I just don't see that happening. I think all of the weight now rests on the Kunkka. Like, Super's gonna have to do a ton of work. He definitely have a skill set that could burst down some of these squishier supports. But how squishy are they? I mean, Ogre has 900 HP just off 2 GG branches because he's got stats. And once Visage hits level 4, he's going to have Gravekeeper's Cloak. So he's going to be naturally tanky as well.
Ogre Magi is about to hit 6 as well, which means the Fire Blast mana cost is going to go up a moderate amount. Normally I'd be worried for him, but he's actually really close to Arcane Boots. So this guy's ready to just be a contributing factor for the rest of the game.
Right.
And Gyro's going to be really delayed on his BKB as well, which means Ogre Magi honestly will be a threat for a very, very long period of time in this game. So the fact that they shut down Burning here for quite a bit is going to help so much. Their supports will still be useful despite being completely countered by BKB. If he can just get a multicast off on the 700 HP Gyrocopter, like,
the job is done. Like,
he's going to die.
Yeah.
And even a Breathe Fire, not really an AoE that we look at and say, like, damn, that's a good AoE.
Right.
That's 300 magic damage. I love that it just makes Dragon Knight useful from the beginning of the game until the mid game. It's like where he's weakest based on his skill set. So
it's always
like,
a good farming tool in the late game too. So.
Yeah. I mean, if they can just like chain stun, if they just do like a Fire Blast and a Breathe Fire and a Soul Assumption, that's most likely going to be Gyrocopter dying, and it's going to really make him weak.
For me, it's so difficult for Burning to actually find a good position in a team fight before he gets his BKB. You talk about the stun from Ogre Magi. There's the Dragon Tail stun at range for him. There is the Shackle Shot stun. There's the Weaver that's popping out of nowhere. That could be a possibility as well. It's just so much that Gyrocopter has to deal with. And like you said, before he gets his BKB, he's sitting ducks. Now, you do have QQQ backing him up with the sandbag and maybe the Chen heal, but it's not a position where you want to be.
And their setup is so much easier on LGD's side. Like, their room for error is so much higher. If you look at how DK has to start fights, it has to be like Burrow Strike into Torrent Boat, or they have to do Torrent Boat into other stuns. Like, whereas LGD can grab any 2 heroes, basically, and go for kills. Whether that's Ogre and Windrunner, or Windrunner and DK. Maybe not that's one, but, like, they have way more ability to just go and get kills. And their heroes are much safer souls as well. Think about what Weaver can do offensively. He's been sitting on the safe lane the whole time, but if he wants to end up going top, like the tier 1's gone top, the tier 1's gone in the mid lane as well, the jungle is essentially opened up, and if he wants to be aggressive in jungle, he can. The only hero he has to really worry about is maybe Kunkka and Sand King setup.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, the X Torrent is definitely a big factor. I don't believe you could time-lapse out of X. Like, if they X you and then you time-lapse, the X is still on you, right? You still go...
I believe so.
I'm not sure
I'm
on
not
that.
sure. I would assume it does. I feel like just about everything covers X, except for Magic Community, of course.
Yeah.
So I don't know what does that mean? All right. Oh, I think they're gonna go. Perfect timing. Will the game continue? I don't know. Do you know what they're saying?
Somebody's electricity cut out. I don't
Okay.
know who Shu Biao is, so maybe they're...
So glad you speak their language. Otherwise,
It's
we'd be
really
lost.
hard because when they're typing like this, it's
Uh-huh.
called pinging, and
Like
there's
English letters.
right, but for example, like CHA, it could mean like 10 different words
Oh.
depending on what sound you put on top of that. Hopefully, I'm explaining that correctly.
I think you are. It's about voice inflection, correct?
Yeah, and
I watched
depending
one
on which
video on
voice
YouTube.
inflection. What's that?
I watched one video on YouTube.
That
what I'm talking
talked about. All right, okay. That's how we learn stuff nowadays. That
Yeah.
one vid on YouTube.
Exactly. Phase boots up on Kunkka. Possible drum maybe, or Urn.
I
Never
think
know.
he's forced into these early game items that normally he doesn't want to get. Because for Kunkka, you want to go phase straight into like a Shadow Blade or something.
Yeah.
Or straight into a BKB, depending how you feel. But I think he just needs an item right now. And maybe drums or urns is what he ends up getting.
Drum's
it's-
pretty crap for damage though. On
Yeah.
Kunkka. It's been nerfed time after time. Only does 12 now, and it costs more. So it's good for the mana pool though. But he has a bottle. I really don't think he needs to boost his mana, and a wand. That's important. Wand is something you can skip. Bottle, that should be more than enough mana. I think he would actually be a waste a bit to go for a drum. The movement speed wouldn't be bad. Is there anyone else building it? Is the question. If Gyro's
Well,
possibly
Sand
gonna
King
build
is
one.
too poor, and Chen is working towards a Mega Magician.
Yeah, it's basically if Gyro doesn't want to build the drum, I think Kunkka should probably do it because somebody having one plus the
Mhm.
boat movement speed could give them tons of mobility stuff.
And you really don't want neither of these heroes to be getting it. You want them to be getting bigger items.
Yeah,
That's like the
especially
farm rolls.
if DK is or if burning that isn't going to have that much of a damage impact. Putting it onto Kunkka's shoulders, like we said earlier, is
So I guess
gonna
we're
be
going to have
important.
somewhat of a more elongated pause, so we get a little bit of time to talk a little bit more about Dota in general. So I got a more general question for you.
'Kay.
You talk about drums getting nerfed, more expensive, less stats, less damage, but teams are still constantly getting it. Do you think it's sometimes it's like an overpurchase item?
I think that there might be more situations where buying 2 is a mistake. I would say, but largely I think the item is still worth it. I think the main reason that drum is a fantastic item is for the int. I think the int of the 3 stats that it gives, the int is usually the reason that I end up buying it on carry heroes, on heroes
Like
that
strength heroes that needs a
yeah,
big
they
boost of
need
int.
they need the 9 int is huge. 10 int gives you 130 mana, so 9 int would give 19 less than that. It's 111, which is a pretty good mana increase while still increasing your DPS and your movement speed and some HP. The agility that it gives is fine.
Every int is 13, right?
Yes, so 130 minus 19 is
Minus 13.
110, 111, right?
130 minus 13?
Yes. 20. Okay, it's 101. Is that?
No. Minus 13, not 19. Why 19?
Oh, 19. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't know why I said 19. You're right. It's
Wait,
13.
I always get confused between. Is it 19 per
It's
int?
19 strength, 13 int.
Okay, I always get
I'm
that
sorry.
number
That's
mixed
why
up.
I was confused. That's where I pulled
Yeah.
19 from. I promise, guys, I know what I'm talking about. Believe me.
Whereas
I'm
I
just glad
get
Lumi
confused.
caught it. Otherwise, I would just like
I'm like,
2 minutes later in stream chat, Purge idiot.
what's going on?
Doesn't know math.
You guys, you gotta keep in mind that we are casting right now. It is Well, right now it's not so late. Right now it's 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, that's
But-
it. No problem. Guys,
but-
took a 1 hour nap there. I'm pretty much good to go, right?
But we started at 2:30 in the morning, so
Yeah.
that
I
was a
don't know.
little
I think drum is still a pretty good item. It shouldn't be gotten for the damage now. I think it should be gotten largely just for the
stats.
HP and the int boost.
Mhm.
It's pretty good on heroes like PA, for example. It's like an early item that doesn't cost too much money. PL is another good hero. A hero that needs some HP to survive, who's generally low HP in the early game, and you need a little bit of a buffer on int as well as HP to not just get comboed by like 3 nukes, for example. Because those heroes are usually just really vulnerable in the early game. You'll be walking around. You might be close to your diffusal blade, but you only have like 700, 750 HP, and pretty much any gank is going to kill you at that point. Like
Would
the
you-
buffer is what you need.
Would you want to say that it's a core on any hero? Because I feel like there's always, maybe sometimes, a better item.
I could say PL kind of core. Like, if you probably don't want to get treads early. I think treads
Mhm.
is skippable. Tranquil boost is probably the best for a hero like PL. I think it's pretty darn good on PA early. There aren't a whole lot of other HP items that I feel are better unless you really want to go like Phase Vanguard.
Which
Is like, it's a lot more expensive and
Yeah.
it doesn't give int. He doesn't need int that much, but like, it doesn't give him attack speed or damage. There's not, I would say Chaos Knight probably is pretty core on him. The extra int is really
yeah,
needed.
that's a good one.
There's a couple, like I said, strength heroes that need an int pool while still maybe
Or
having
agility
some
heroes that
damage.
needs
Agility
strength. Yeah.
casters,
Yeah.
basically. Gyrocopter is another good example. He doesn't need it, but it gives him a lot of what he needs. HP, a little bit of damage, and most importantly, more mana to work with, so he doesn't have to rely on like a bottle or a Bacilli. Well, they always get Bacillius anyways, but like a lot of those heroes will run into mana problems somewhere between like the 5-minute mark and the 15-minute mark, and Drum just gets rid of that. You spend about 1,800 gold.
Yeah.
Not too much investment. You can always sell it late game, but I feel like I very rarely sell drums myself.
It's just
so.
it's a nice kind of boost in terms of just stats for your whole team, which or not
Yeah.
stats, but like movement speed and whatnot. A little bit of update for you guys here. Apparently somebody's mouse broke and there's no replacement mouse in the gaming house.
They only have 4 mice, actually, so now they're down to 3.
Yeah.
It's a dire situation. in the
Actually, one of
tournament.
these players in the background just not even playing. He's like, you can micro my hero, share control, and
It's all of his girlfriends. Wait, that's MUFC. Sorry. He's maybe it's actually him. He's so practiced at microing girlfriends that he can micro like a couple in person and one LDR one. So he's actually like remote connected to his computer.
well, I think MVFC may have to spend a little bit more time microing heroes and girlfriends because they're not doing so well in the group stage right now. I think they're like 1 point,
I think they're 1 and 3.
1 and 3.
Really?
Yeah.
And they started off great. They went 1 and 1 with LGD, which is impressive.
Yep.
I mean, they just lost a 2-0 versus DK, but DK is
Which is
definitely.
somewhat expected. To be
But
fair.
DK is looking like the best team. All right, game's resuming, guys. Sorry for the delay there. Unfortunately, we cannot control their tech hardware. I wish I could. Somehow.
Like, here, mouse. You could use. No, we need some mouse here at BTS. Every time
true.
that like, say, hey guys, let's Dota.
You mean you bum over to our house to play on our computers?
Hey man.
Buy a laptop already. Get second
Um,
hardware.
I do have a laptop, but it's a netbook, so I can't play it. Any case, let's talk about this tier 1 tower push that's happening on the bot lane. Shao 8 joining there, and well, I mean, you talked about the tier 1 and tier 1 tower on both top and bot, or top and mid has already been taken down. So just the last of kind of removing any tower. This just shows you how far ahead that LG is ahead. Normally, when you breaking tier 1 towers, you need like 4 or 5 heroes to do it. Right now, LG's doing it like with 1 and 2, like just doing a lot better. But here comes
Ooh.
X.
Oh, he almost
X,
cast the
X.
X, but he actually cancels it. He goes out of darkness again. Siler runs away. Didn't get it. It looked like he was really confident with his X as well. Like
Top
as
lane
he,
though.
As
Here
he almost casted, he backed off. Burning's gonna get shackled though. This looks really bad.
Yep.
Man, that hero just dies so easy. And now he's really, really far behind. This is his 3rd death now. He doesn't have anything past a wand. He doesn't even have time to cast that thing. He just dies.
Yep. I mean, Shackle Shot, Fire Blast, Soul Cat, or Soul Assumption. It is just so much damage output. This is also something that I wanted to ask you during the long pause we have. What do you think about Ogre Magi's build? I mean, you don't pick him for the Fire Blast because you pick if you want a stun, there's better stuns. I don't think you pick him for the multicast either because, you know, none of these Chinese players are skilled enough to always multicast. So you pick in for the Bloodlust, and looks like they're going to be running into a two-man stun.
Oh,
Two-man
the
Centaur.
stun.
Nice.
Oh,
Torn on
man.
top. Even the bolt. No, the bolt not even necessary. That was a huge pick off. 4 heroes there. A bunch of them level up. A bunch of getting assist gold and whatever else. But going back to the Ogre, you pick him for the Bloodlust, and he's not getting Bloodlust right now.
I don't think it's just about the Bloodlust. It's about how tanky he is as well. When he
Sure.
goes to stat build, every point of stat that he picks up, that's an extra 38 HP. He gets some agi out of it, but his base armor is so huge right now. I would argue that against a hero like Chen, if you're doing an aggressive tri-lane and you're worried about a Chen ganking you, what better way to be super survivable? You have naturally much higher HP.
Top
You have
bot,
really
bot,
good
bot.
armor as well. They're
Super.
trying to get a kill. Super is looking like he will actually go down. Yep, Joey's able to pick it off. He's got a DD actually. He's running for his life, trying to get in a better position right now. But Darkseer, look at this minus armor on this guy, -8. He's going to vacuum this, and the bugs will die. And now Joey's in a lot of trouble, actually. The Iron Shell as well as the blocking. Great stun, actually, on MMY. He's not going to be able to get the damage, and he's be able to bottle up in the meantime. Joey's going to be able to survive. And Siler might even... No, there's no way he's going to kill him. He's going to be able to surge in 5 seconds. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like the Ogre pickup versus a Chen, when you're going aggressive tri-lane, he can stun so many times. The Fire Blast mana cost is really low, and it just gave them so many chances to set up at pretty good range. Like, if that was a Crystal Maiden or something, yeah, he's got the offensive, and a better offensive than Ogre, but he's definitely an open target to a hero like Chen.
Burrow Shrek in the jungle right now. Yao trying to win run away. Gonna Centaur Stomp. They need to get that rocket to land, but they just don't have enough. Yao might as well, I mean, doesn't have the mech mana, but it's going to be absolutely fine. In fact, they're going to chase him down. Call down's going to get fired. Test of Faith on top as well. Meanwhile, it looks like Darkseer has died. But more importantly, I think Burning put himself up on the board, getting himself a little bit of kills. And maybe saying, hey guys, oh, you even got the Courier? Courier slow, oh my god. And if they got the Courier, that would have been absolutely huge. But here comes Dragonite. I don't think he's going to get too much done as well. Sylar joining the fray. Uh-oh, it's going to be Soulsum showing out from the backline. Just when you think that Burning has going to get something done. In fact, it's going to be Sylar chasing the Chen through the tier 2 tower. Not too sure how much he could do. X, where's the X? He's lost vision. There's going to be X. Torn on top, but the Chen has unfortunately died. And Sylar, we just talk about Aquila. We talk about Treads.
Yeah.
We saw it there.
Yeah, he's even pretty low level still, level 11, and a lot of strength items picked up. He wasn't even using agi treads in the fight and still able to get kills, so Hero's definitely pretty good. He's actually maxing out Geminate second, though. He's not going quite the same build from last game. It's pretty worth it, actually. The duration double, or 50% increases for the Swarm between level 1 and 2. So if you just get the second level, it gives a lot more armor. Minus armor cap, so I kind of like this build. I might have to start adjusting to this. It's pretty smart.
Tier 2 Tower is going to get destroyed on the mid lane here. They won on DD, but again, DD, 8 Burrow Strike, 8 Torrent, still very tanky. Finally, eventually goes down, but that's enough time for the rest of the team to maybe do something. The Coco Realm comes out, that's movement speed, that's some kind of a tankiness, but Burning goes down yet a second time. Sylar, oh no, he's not going to be dying because the Shackle Shot come through. Here comes the Hand of God, maybe somewhat late. MMY Epicenter gets channel. Unfortunately, Weaver says, I'll just get out of there, no problem. Oh, another Sun comes out from Xiao 8. Flame Breath? Not even necessary.
Wow. Power Shot's a good skill, guys. 360 magic damage. Picks off the kill. 3 dead heroes now for DK. And LGD is just running over DK. It looks pretty close based on the scoreboard, but let's take a look at the overall gold graph. And it is looking quite flat. A bit of a plateau there, but exponential. No, that's not exponential. That's a straight line. But still, it's going up quite heavily, and LGD has a massive edge. They're just running over their opponents right now. There's not a whole lot DK can do. And I think that really comes down a lot to the heroes drafted. I mean, DK has a great team fight. It would be great if they could do Torrent Boat combo with a Vacuum and an Epicenter Blink, but they can't even get to that point because LGD just has the much stronger early game with all their stun setups.
Yeah, I mean, that team fight predicates on you on getting the levels, right? Because you want level 11 on Boat, you want a max Vacuum, you want probably a max Call Down on Burning as well. I mean, if you look at, there's only 10 kill on LGD, 5 of them are on Burning, so they are definitely shutting him down. That he is the main target. And it looks like we're going to see a smoke gank up top, but they're ganking Weaver of all the players. He's got even a haste rune on top, so I just don't think this is going to work out.
If you guys need anything to tell you how this game is going, take a look at the Gyrocopter's items right now. Double Bracer. That is how desperate they are to keep this guy alive. It's just so easy to kill him with this burst nuke. They have so much burst damage.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think Double Bracer does it. That's the sad part. So I might think that an Ogre Club might be a little bit more cost effective in the sense that it builds into an item a little bit later on, but he's just sitting at 600 gold, 800 gold all the time. He doesn't even get up to the 1k. He probably needs to get up to Strength Treads as well. because you just need to get every HP item that you can get.
Well, he's got 900 gold. We'll see if he purchases it. In the meantime, LGD is pushing offlane. DK, almost gets shackled here. We will see a Torrent. Zhao Eight's going to dodge this, though. He's at level 11, so he's got some AoE splash to go with his poison. And now with TP back, they want to defend the tier 1 tower. This is a little aggressive, actually. He could get Burrow Strike called on as well. There's no way this is going to be worth it for Zhao Eight, and he will go down. Does use the Breath of Fire, but more TPs from his allies. MMY is going to get picked up. They will be able to save the tower. They shackle on Bernie. He's going to get sent back. Will he die, though? He does get sent back.
Double bracer. Double bracer did it. Oh,
So
QQQ cancels TPs. He's somewhat detected by the bug, but they don't chase him down. So, meanwhile, in the jungle here, RTK running away from a couple of supports.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's
No
okay.
problem. He's
Well,
almost got his mech as well.
I mean, this is like a... Oh, is he
Not
fine?
done yet.
Multicast. What a skill shot coming out. And Soul Assumption is going to do the work.
Oh.
Hand of God? Not going to be
That
enough.
medallion. I didn't think he was going to die there, but all of a sudden the bats started hitting with the medallion, and he just absolutely melted. Not very common to see Darkseer die fast, but with a -6 armor, he goes down to 1. And that is the squishiest you can be, pretty much.
Yep.
Really, really easy kill at that point. LGD is just running over DK, controlling the map, getting ganks off on even heroes that should be hard to kill.
So normally I would say, guys, game over. I mean, it's such a big goal lead. It's almost 10,000. The only team I won't call GG in a situation like this is against DK, because it always feels like they're like 70% of the game they start out down 5,000-6,000 K gold, and then they just have some of the most spectacular base defense. They're probably gonna have to give up this tier 2 tower as well. Maybe they'll try their best to defend this one. I don't see them successfully doing so, but DK is probably one of the hardest team to go high ground against, because their positioning is so good, their late game decision is so good, and it might be one of those games that they have to grind out against LGD. But on the same time, LGD is getting some scary items. Dragonite, BKB's up. Weaver, BKB's up, and also 1k gold in the bank. I mean, these are some items that I don't think DK can fight against.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. Ogre Madra picking up level 7. He's going to go for an Urn as well. Surely he'll grab Bloodlust after this. I don't really doubt that at all. More attack speed for the Dragonite is going to be great. He's also grabbed a BKB. So many. Burrow Strike to low ground, actually. They're going to go in on DD. Is he going to throw the boat? He is actually. He gets... How did he get the high ground? Vacuum, I believe,
yeah.
as Dragonite shows up doing some damage to Rodk. There's some nets on the bats. They're going to send back Rodk. So he's going to be fine, but I think either QQQ or MMY is going to be in some trouble. The Dragon comes in. Here comes the stun. Couple right clicks on him, and no hints of him escaping.
Yeah, meanwhile, MMY survives. I mean, at that point, you basically traded your Chen for an Ogre Magi, which, considering how the game's going, you're happy, right? Because Burning wasn't even there. Burning was farming, but how much was he really farming? Because Sylar shows up, right-click him a couple times, and forces Burning to TP back.
It is the tanky Gyrocopter now, though. He did take
Look at
your
that
advice.
strength.
Treads, sold his Ring of Protection, and now he's got a Ogre Club. So strength stack the Gyrocopter to try to keep him alive. If he does survive the burst, though, and can get sent back by Chen, something like that, it will keep their team relatively strong for a bit. The downside is that all of the nukes that are being used to burst these heroes are all really low cooldown. Like Breathe Fire, Power Shot, even Fire Blast, things like that. It's not like their ultimates or anything like that. I mean, they don't. Do they have any
long
cooldown
ones?
ultimates? It's like Dragonite ulti and that's it. Like, how nice is that? That's the only thing limiting you is a 115-second Dragon form that doesn't even necessarily need to be used to kill heroes. Like,
maybe the birds, like if they die during a middle team fight, but I don't think that's a big deal at all.
yeah.
So
I thought they were going to die a lot this game because of Kunkka as well as Gyrocopter, but just hasn't been the case.
Yeah, that's more of a mid to late game kind of thing. And now you have Yao pick up a 4-staff. That mech's been doing a ton of work as well, and more importantly, Visage has a gem on him. So in conjunction with those familiar that could give you flying vision, all your wards are gone, and I'm not sure how DK will do it. I mean, sure, they're not going to die if they sit in their base, but at the same time, they're not getting farm either, because DK could easily just duck into the enemy jungle and start farming. Same thing with that Weaver. So I think they're going to get starved out of this game.
Ogre Magi actually does pick up Ignite, so 20% slow that he can use on
a level 8 Ignite. I'm not sure if I like this.
Hey man, it's 20% slow. I think it's worth it. 95 mana. He's got pretty much unlimited mana pool at this point. Like, I honestly think that every Ogre Magi should get at least one Ignite, personally.
That's fine. I believe one Ignite is fine, but I think Bloodlust might be a little bit better, more suited for this stage of the game.
Max it out at this point. Go for Bloodlust max. I think that's fair. I still am not completely sure if I think Skip getting stats early game is worth it. It did give him more mana pool and more ability to nuke, but I don't know. I just really like Ignite Fire Blast myself, but Ogre Magi is the man. Bloodlust is super good though for your carries late game.
Yep. Sylar now has a Demon Edge on top, so it's probably going to be an MKB. Just it works out so well with his Gemini attack, since the MKB gives you a ton of damage. Super trying his best to push the Equilibrium a little bit further and further away from the base. He's got a decent amount of gold, but I'm not sure whether you save your buyback gold here. I personally wouldn't even get BKB here. I just don't think the survivability item is enough. I think you just go big. You get a Crystallis and say, let's pray for something happen.
Not even a Shadow Blade?
I mean, I think there's a gem on the Visage, right?
Yeah,
how much is it going to do?
Well, it's not like you need it for the invis. You're just getting, you get a bonus 150.
And you crit out of the, yeah, that's decent.
Well,
Maybe it's
not
like
really
a safer
crit,
item
but
choice.
You get the bonus 150 that'll splash against the whole team, which is pretty good.
It's not quote-unquote
will
crit,
only give
but
you 35.
yeah.
Like, and obviously, Shadow Blade is a lot more money, but I don't know. I feel like Shadow Blade will do a lot more than a crit will. At least it's reliable. I mean, if you crit, it'd be cool. But that's putting a lot of gamble into a game that you're really far behind. They're going in on Sylar. Will they be able to X? They actually throw a blind.
Oh my god!
Him. Super so sick. Sylar, can they spot him though? They do spot him now. There's the X. That's a level 2X. Putting him back Sentry BKB, and Sylar's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just BKB this and, you know, kill one of your supports.
Does it? No, they Sandstorm, Burrow, and gets back
Oh
out.
god.
MMY! He had the sandbag, but he played it way too close. But what a torrent coming out from Super. Great play. I mean, you got a BKB charge out of it, the 10-second BKB charge.
Yeah.
I think last game we're talking about how important it was. This game's not that bad because when you have things like Vacuum, Torrent Bolt, Epicenter, you know, any less BKB charges is always good. But here comes the push. They don't have BKB. Torrent's not going to hit this time here, and Sylar down to about half HP. TP goes into the front of the base, cancels it. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful if you're LGD. I think DK could win a team fight right now because there's no BKB on Weaver.
They possibly could. A Burrow Epicenter could be pretty huge, but they have BKBs on a lot of other core heroes. There's actually a stun. Burning way out of position. Great shackle shot as well. He gets bursted down immediately. Definitely too far forward. Boat comes in. Burrow strike on Sylar. Sylar's going to go down. That's just the Aegis for him, so no big loss, and they're setting up the wall as well. Vacuum comes through, doesn't catch anybody, and actually nobody hits Sylar. X. Here it is. Shackle shot on Rod K. Sylar running for his life. Great force step from the supporters, but the Epicenter comes in. DD's getting low. Pops the mech as well, and Xiao 8's running for his life. He is going to end up dying, I think, 55 HP. Burrow strike in 3 seconds. He is definitely going down. Yao as well looking for the Burrow strike. Dragonite does end up getting cleaned up, and DK is going to hold this fight.
Super's so on the chase right now. He's got drums, he's got face, he gives it up, but look at this defense. They clear through the Aegis, they clear through 4 kills, getting kills on Sylar, getting kills on Xiao 8. Great plays. I mean, the BKB was down, and I completely believe that DK could have hold, and this is why I believe DK is probably the best late game team, because they don't make... How many teams down by 10k go could have made that defense? And now it's dipping downwards. I think DK has a clear shot of winning this still. It's still going to be an uphill climb, but they just showed LG that you don't mess with us. Aegis or not, you know.
And they didn't even do that perfect either. That could have gotten even worse. Like the Darkseer wall, for example, didn't even really catch that many people. So, and by that I mean 0. It did nothing.
It did nothing.
He did do an offensive vacuum on a support hero, which possibly got them more out of position, but... it was some pretty sick defense by LGD as well. Somebody force-staffed that guy out. I think it was a force-staff on Ogre Magi or something to try to save him. That hero's really tanky. He's got 1,400 HP right now as a level 9 hero. He has picked up Bloodlust, though, but they definitely had a lot of trouble diving past the tower. Like, once the BKBs ran out, it was just simple matters to set up the X Torrents with the boat. So, and he does go for Shadow Blade, so guaranteed 150, well, not guaranteed, but an extra 150 splash damage that he can apply to the team fights.
And it's a great chasing tool as well. If you do chase him out of the base with your big AoE spells, you know, giving more movement speed to cast your X or whatever else is pretty decent big deal. The bigger thing for me was that Visage just purchased this gem like 2 minutes, and now it's in the stash or in the item slot of Chen. So now they could deward a little bit. It's definitely a bit of a gold swing in that department as well. And DK farming the safety to start farming in the jungle. Burning, who has had the toughest time of all of the players, 3, 6, and 6, he's almost got BKB himself. So I don't know how Burning does it, but, you know, he's not a non-factor despite how everything has happened.
Pretty sure he's pressing F and then right-clicking the ground and killing things, something like that.
And then getting a ton of gold as a result. But here comes another push attempt, I think. As long as DK don't get caught out of position and die before a push comes, they should be okay. I mean, sure, you might be saying, hey guys, they can probably still have buyback, but I think if you're down this much gold and you're trying to buy back to defend your towers, you are defending them, but you're not making a clear-cut path to come back. and that's what needed to do right now.
Well, Jaro is still about 800 away from finishing the BKB. Salar's actually shifting over, wants to poke at him a bit. He can get a solo kill or at least force a TP from Gyrocopter. He doesn't have his MKB quite yet either, about 1,500 gold away from that. So for now, he's mostly just being annoying. Again, last time he got game,
mid lane
popped
here,
a
X,
BKB.
Torn, Burrow Strike, Epicenter being channeled, as well as a cooldown, but here comes, all of the spells are being used, and it's going to be a re-engagement coming out from LGD. The bolt is going to land on Yao, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Sylar, here comes the wall, does not do anything. I mean, these illusions are not doing enough damage. QQ is going to get bursting out, and that's the big mistake that they should not have committed. Chasing a Windrunner that had a Force Staff, that's going to force a Darkseer buyback. I mean, again, they might be able to defend, but they're not making any headway. They also have lost a gem they just picked up, and they're out of ultimates right now. This is going to be tough for DK to hold.
It looks so good for them, too. They were able to initiate. Windrunner seemed by himself. There's the burst strike onto Salar. Will he get bursted down? Rod K goes down to very low HP, is able to get killed. And MMY healing himself back up, but this looks like the Rax is finally going to fall. The gold advantage that LGD has is finally doing work.
Yeah, Torrent's going to get fired up. That's going to hit a couple here up in the air, delaying them to right-clicking, but the mech, oh man, that's like the nail in the coffin. Says, you got all your AoE? You're done? You're done? Here comes the mech, and everybody back to full HP. MMY looking for Burrow Strike. The Rex still stands. Burrow's going to hit. X, Torrent, Bolt. No, Bolt is still on cooldown. In fact, they want to go on MMY. Here comes the call down. Burning is back. He's trying to right-click. He's probably going to get a kill on Xiaoyi as well. They do not. The Bolt's not going to hit the Shackle onto 2. Oh my god, that's Sylar. It's a skill shot multicast. Burning goes down a second time, and it's Sylar time-lapsing to get some HP back. Super trying to get that cleave hit off. The birds, all the sun coming up against MMY. Everybody back off. DK still hold, but I just don't know. They have lost so many goals, and Burning died twice in that team fight.
Did he buy back? Yes, 5 minutes ago.
He died once, and then he came back, and then he died again.
Like he respawned?
Yeah, he respawned and died again, so...
Well, he definitely doesn't have BKB yet. Sold a couple of his bracers. Recycled them for the greater good, but not quite enough. The whole fight started off okay for DK. Like, I really thought they were going to be able to kill the Windrunner, honestly. But she forced the F out of the call down, and then they were able to turn. She seemed solo. It was like the whole LGD team was bot. And
right.
She got initiated on here, and they got there so fast to help out. DK happened to be in position. That helped a lot. So he was able to go aggressive and waste the epicenter, basically.
Even if they got the kill on the Windrunner, which they didn't, I'm not even sure whether they could win the team fight afterwards, because all they had left was a vacuum wall, which, again, didn't hit too many targets. I think Epicenter, Bolt, as well as Call Down are your biggest spells. And if you use it so close to your base and you don't get like a 3-4 wipe, you're in big danger of getting pushed in. And
yeah, immediately. Like, they're not going to wait. It's like, oh, your big team fight ultis are gone and your tactical position is right in front of us. We'll just take it. We'll force this.
So, I mean, I think the Radiant team will respect these team fight ultimates, or will they? Because here comes Xiao 8 already rim-run up, and here comes those Bloodlust being fired up from DD as well.
Even a drum being picked up on Overmatch. I love the cloak pickup, though. Illusion with the ultis, though. They're going to go high ground. BKB's popped immediately. They go in on Bernie. He's going to get sent back by the Chen. Heals are actually blown a little bit too much there. I think he actually wasted his heals somewhat. But is really trying to keep him alive. Super taking right click. Grave Chill as well. This guy's going to take a lot of damage when Boat runs up. Here comes the epicenter. He's actually able to get it off, but the Chase not able to do any damage with it at all here. Salar in the back with Bloodlust right clicking really hard, and it looks like a team fight win for LGD so far. 3 dead heroes. Salar going to time lapse the back out just in time. Here comes the stun. Throws on Burning. Burning goes down. Super able to survive with 180 HP. And good game is called by ROTK. And it looks like LGD continues their 1-1 streak. Every team they play against going 1-1. This one was different, though.
Yeah.
The previous matches, they got the first win, lost the second. But this one, coming back, really convincing game from LGD. I think they honestly played a really fabulous game here. Did you see many mistakes at all? I felt like they just... Perfect game from LGD, pretty much. Outplaying DK, despite DK's great team fight, generally. Like,
well, the big mistake for me, the one mistake was they push without BKB. I mean, they had Aegis on Weaver in that bot team fight. Remember that one?
The one where they dove too far, basically. There was a lot of
and
action, right here.
Right. That was like the one mistake where they could have waited 40 seconds or so and pushed with BKB and Weaver Aegis, but, you know, that's just being picky, you know?
Let's be picky.
Yeah, let's be a little
LG, you could be better. No, I'm just kidding. They're super good. I think they did a great job farming. I mean, it even started with their draft. Their draft started out fantastic. They had a drafting advantage. their lane setup worked. They forced Bernie into a TP at like 30 seconds or something like that. There goes 135 gold, and then he TP'd into a lane that he didn't really want to be in. It was like a triple stun, triple nuker. They killed him a couple times.
Yeah.
So just like their lane setup positioned them so well in the mid game, and from there when they had the last hitting advantage on their core heroes, and they had the early game hero advantage with the easy stun setups, like how is DK supposed to win that? They had a couple really good team fights, but at that point their gold advantage was just, they were so far behind. Like, how are you supposed to do it?
I don't know. I mean, Super right now getting nuked down by 2 supports. Sad lives.
Trying really hard to get that kill, but nothing.
I mean, taking out 1-1 against Rattlesnake, against MUFC, not exactly where LG China wants to be.
Yeah.
But getting a 1-1 against DK, which is the result that you predicted.
I'm the man.
I mean, that's not too bad. I still believe that DK, just looking at how the game's progressing, they were playing better Dota, but that better Dota did not happen here, and it's LG China all the way.
What are you saying? You saying they're going to win everything?
Well,
Tier 3?
All the way from minute 1 to 32 of this game, they're winning. So
yes,
that's
DDC just avoiding deaths. Look at the slow on Rocket. He's got to get close for melee range. This is pretty.
These birds, these stuns.
Wow. Oh, the mech. Oh, can he get it? This is pretty clowny. Oh, man. That was pretty sick play from DDC there.
Well, I mean, he had bloodlust. He has he had a grave slow and all that stuff.
QQQ trying so hard to get that kill, but not able to get it. And it's like our admin possibly AFK.
No.
Oh, there's the last DC, so there's no end game. We've seen a lot of end games so far, but
they also feed Bernie.
Look at this. Ogre Magi.
Out right clicking.
Easy.
Yeah.
He's got 2k HP, and he literally has mid-game items. Like, he's also level 17.
He's also level 17 for whatever reason of all the kills he got at the end.
Bloodlust on the familiars? I've never thought about this before.
Well,
let's see this attack speed.
They're still somewhat limited by the actual, like, charge damage that.
Yeah, but they can deal it out faster, which is cool. It doesn't have to be.
You know what I found the other day? You could actually living armor those birds.
Can you?
Yeah, so I had some people that were diving for the birds in my tree and just living armored it, and I just flew away, and they're like, what the 5 people surrounding it couldn't get the kill.
That's really elaborate. Okay,
living armor, guys.
that's game 2. LGD is going to go 1-1 with DK here in Group A, so pretty happy to see LGD at least get middle of the pack in their group standings. They've lost 3 games, but I don't know. They did take a game off of DK at least. DK is not undefeated. They're sitting 5-1, still pretty solid. What do you guys have to say at the desk?
I'm disappointed. I was looking for the 6-0 sweep from Team DK. They do fall a little bit short here, but 5-1 in Group A. They still have that inside track to actually take the group.
Yeah, definitely. As long as they don't drop any games against Rattlesnake, they're still in a prime position to win the group. So it's not as if this 1-1 was the worst thing in the world. Dropping both games would have been disastrous, but 1-1, it's an okay position to be in.
And I would still be very surprised if they actually lose to Rattlesnake. I mean, you look at Rattlesnake, they did take a game off LGD, but I felt like that was more LGD maybe being a little bit shaky or not quite as dominant as you would expect than it was Rattlesnake actually being in prime position to do well in the group or being kind of a top team.
Yes, definitely. So
we'll
be surprised.
We'll see what they can do, but you look at DK and LGD, and for these two teams overall, I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel like they're playing at the top of their game and we're just sort of seeing 2 top teams going blow for blow here, or do you feel like maybe a little bit shaky?
I think LGD, especially yesterday, has not played to their full potential. I think their picks have been a little bit off from what I normally see from them, and their play as well has been a bit... It just seems like nobody's playing particularly perfectly on their team.
Yeah.
And everything feels a little off. I mean, I'm used to seeing a higher standard of play out of players like Yao and Zhao 8 than I normally see. Their supports don't seem to be doing too poorly, but in general, their rotation as a team, it feels okay, but the individual skill just seems kind of like they're... they just don't really have their foot on the pedal like I normally see them.
It's now been 2 days of action in Group A, so when we have a second here, we'll take a look at the group standings. Of course, LGD International did forfeit 2 of their matches, so that will explain some of the additional games you haven't actually seen played. They're 0-4 in Group A. They're going to have a tough time getting anything but last place. With that being said, any surprises for you in these first few days? Looking at not just today's games, but also day 1 games, has any team really impressed you? Anyone surprised you or disappointed you? Anything standing out to you so far?
LGD, I'm just kidding. I was going to say LGD and going 0-4, but MUFC going 1-3. I mean, to be honest, the teams they played against I thought were pretty superior to them, but they gave LGD a pretty good run. They deserved the win they got, and I think the game against DK, they could have actually picked up a win in that second game. So overall, I know it looks kind of poor that they won 1-3, but the way they went 1-3 wasn't the worst thing in the world.
I mean, it's a great point you make. Is they've played the two toughest teams of the group, so the rest of the way they'll have to play Rattlesnake and they'll actually play LGD in. I believe they didn't get a forfeit win over them because they weren't scheduled to play in these first 2 days, so they'll have to earn it the scrappy way, the hard way. But that pretty much concludes today's action for the Alienware Cup. Of course, big shout out once again to Alienware as well as MasterCard, our sponsors for this tournament, for making this amazing Dota 2 possible. Of course,
Rattlesnake did a lot better than Imagine, because it says 3-1 right now. It should say 4-0 because they were. Remember that Alchemist game that they threw eventually?
Oh, yeah.
That was a game that deserved to win that one.
He was 6 slotted at 35 minutes.
It was 4-0 to me. So, you know, from a team that's not playing so well in DSL, that's having roster issues.
0-4 in DSL actually.
Right. So and they come back having 3-1 or 4-0 depending how you look at. I think they could be the dark horse of this group. They could finish second or even first depending how things pan out. So.
Yeah, they definitely have the opportunity to do really well in the group. I guess for me, I haven't been as impressed by their play. Obviously, they're beating good teams, and like Lumi mentioned, could have gone 4-0, but I felt like, at least for me, maybe it was their opponents just not quite playing at the high level we're normally accustomed to seeing from them. But just my personal opinion there, of course. So that's going to conclude our Day 2 action. Big shout-out not only to the sponsors, but Alienware MasterCard, but also to DPM, the tournament organizer. Huge shout out to her. She's made some more announcements that Bruno, as well as Merlini, they're flying in. We're looking forward to having them stay and be a part of our coverage later on in the event. But for the time being, that'll wrap things up for today, guys. If you missed any of the games, if you want to check any of them out, we will be running a rebroadcast for all of the action for today, so be sure to stick around for that. Else, we will see you on the 23rd when our coverage resumes. So for the time being, we'll have a few days off. We'll come back. We'll have our third day of group stage action for Group A. We can actually maybe even show the schedule if it's ready now. If not, we'll show it after as soon as this ends. Looks like it's not ready, so we'll show it right after. But that's going to conclude our coverage. We'll come back with Group A, Day 3 on the 23rd of June. For now, it's LD and the rest of Beyond the Summit here, signing off.